What about your life with movies then? What was your first favourite movie, if you can remember, and if you can remember the first time you ever went
Ooh.
to the cinema? Do you have a recollection of that?
So again, going back to my granny, she used to like look after us on Saturdays and whatnot, and she lived not far away from the Parkhead Forge, so there was always a trip to the cinema. I think I saw most of like the early Pixar's
Cool.
when they came out. So apparently, I was there for A Bug's Life. I don't remember; was too young. Um, but I definitely remember going to see Finding Nemo and The Incredibles,
Nice.
and maybe Toy Story 2 as well. Those are like the first three, and Secondhand Lions as well, actually. And the only reason I remember that is because we went to see Finding Nemo one week, came back the next week. My sister was like, "Let's go and see Secondhand Lions," and me being a wee brat, I was like, "No, I want to see Finding Nemo again." So we saw Finding Nemo again, and then the next week I came back by myself, just being Granny, and I was like, "Hey, Gran, I like the look of that Secondhand Lions. Let's."
Oh man. I don't know that film. What is Secondhand Lions? What's that about?
Secondhand Lions is Michael Caine,
Oh, really?
Robert Duvall, I think. Sorry, I'm just going to do a wee quick Google just to
Yeah,
make
go for it.
sure. It
It's
is,
funny
aye,
though
Robert.
because like you go to see so many like big films at the cinema, but then sometimes I'm only now realizing over the past few years, like all the smaller films that would literally just slip under the radar if you didn't go to the cinema on a regular
Yeah,
basis.
if you didn't know they existed from the get go. Aye.
Yeah,
Well, this is definitely one of those films. Michael Caine and Robert Duvall play like a pair of aging brothers living on a farm somewhere in like the south of the United States. And Haley Joel Osment of The Sixth Sense fame gets sent to live with him. And he learns all about them. Turns out they've had this mad life. One of them was in like the French Foreign Legion and stuff. And then one day they get sent a lion. And that's kind of, the story is mostly about him learning about his great uncles or whatever. But it's a very touching film. It maybe hasn't aged that well,
yeah.
but it's a nice wee charming number. Michael
It
Caine's
sounds
very good in
like
it.
Michael Caine's always great, but it
Yeah.
sounds like one of those films that like was put on Disney Plus. Like, remember when what was it? Who bought or who was added to Disney Plus recently? Is it Star now or something like that? Star and like loads of like new films, like no one had ever had lots of B movies straight to
Okay.
DVD releases were like thrown on Disney Plus, and it sounds like one of those ones, which again are so like some guilty pleasures involved in that. You know what I mean? Like
I
you might
do.
find some
Yeah.
wee hidden gems. You know?
Aye. Aye. I think just because I love watching all sorts of films, like even if they're absolutely trash,
Hmm.
I do get a bit of a kick out of them. Like one year for my birthday, someone gave me Nicolas Cage's Wicker Man
Nice.
and Sharktopus as well. Because I think I'd just been talking a lot about how I didn't think either of them were very good, and then
Right.
lo and behold, I got them both for my birthday. But Sharktopus is like a horribly charming film. You're like, this is trash, but I reckon they're having a great time.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Exactly.
just fun to watch them just be completely ridiculous.
Do you like the Jaws films?
I've only seen the first one. I've never seen
Right.
any of the
Okay.
other Jaws films.
So I mean, the first one's the best one. I always say that
Yeah.
Jaws is like my favorite movie ever, other than I don't know Star Wars or whatever. But
Mm.
the other ones always get critiqued a lot. The second one not so much because the second one's kind of just a follow on from the first one. But the third one
Sure.
gets a little bit silly, and it's like a shark that comes inside SeaWorld and how it's going to like affect the other animals in SeaWorld. Like the sharks going to eat the dolphins, things like that. So people start like rolling their eyes at that. But you know the way like technically is a bad film, kinda. But I'll
Uh-huh.
be able to see the good in it. You know what I mean? So you're probably the same. You're probably able to see the good in any film just because you have that wee soft spot towards it,
Absolutely.
you know?
Absolutely. In fact, when we were in school, we came up with a little kind of mantra, which was art, fart, or Paul Blart. And art speaks for itself. Art is good. Fart again speaks for itself. It's bad. Paul Blart,
Mall
obviously
cop.
from Paul Blart Mall Cop, yes, is something that is so bad that somehow it's kind of good. Like
Yes.
Paul Blart, arguably is a dreadful film, but my god, if it's not enjoyable. Like when he's
It's
playing
such a
Detroit
good
Rock
time.
City while all the heist stuff's going on, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And he's cutting about in a Segway. He like
Yeah.
emerges from the ball pit. What a film!
I loved Paul Blart's. I remember I had the DVD. They made a second one, was never nowhere near as good.
Well, it never is.
The never is. But I had the first one on DVD and I loved it a lot. And I haven't watched it in a long, long time. And then I don't know, like last summer or something, I had like a wee like overnight stay in Edinburgh. We went to see, what did we go and see? Was it maybe Beauty and the Beast or something at the Edinburgh Playhouse? And we'd had a few drinks and stuff, and we were a wee bit like tipsy and stuff. And we went back to the room and watched Paul Blart's Mall Cop. I don't know why that was the movie we picked.
Because it's a night of culture, you know? You're at the Playhouse 1 minute, you're coming back, you got Kevin James on the big screen. What more do you want?
Kevin James on the Segway, moving about with a wee lollipop. I don't know. That's so funny you bring that up. I've not thought about Paul Blart since that day, so that was good.
Well, you're welcome. You know, I think people should think about Paul Blart.
Paul Blart.
Yeah, Mall Blart.